The biggest advice I would give to anybody in this role right now is go do it. Don't wait.
Welcome to the show. I want to introduce Cleve Adams. Thank you for being here today, Cleve.
My pleasure. I
Yeah,
just love talking to you, Laura, so I look forward to it.
good. Well, what I'd love to do is start off with you sharing a little bit about you so that the audience can understand who you are and where you come from.
Great. Well, let's see, where do I start? So I'm a six-time CEO in the technology field, serial entrepreneur, if you will. I've done some great startups. I started a company called Websense, which we took from two guys and a dog and a plastic table to a $1 billion IPO. And, that was the first cybersecurity unicorn. That's significant, right? And
Mhm.
actually the first SaaS company out there. So I'm known as the father of SaaS. Actually, I've been called the Godfather of SaaS. So that's kind of
Does
fun, right?
does does
Yeah,
that
some
mean you're
guys they
getting
say
older?
you must be the Godfather of SaaS then if you're the first SaaS guy. So I say, yeah, I'll take it. So no, it's funny. I was talking with a buddy of mine, Nolan Bushnell, which is founder of Atari and the guy that gave Steve Jobs his first job. And he's the one that coined that term, Godfather of SaaS. So I'll keep it.
You'll keep
Um,
it.
yeah, yeah. So since then, I've consulted for firms, and it's helped me to become a six-time CEO. Private equity firms and venture capital firms hire me to help with their portfolio companies, and it's just been a real fun career doing that. I've done, companies like Websense and other large companies where we were able to have, about six different merger and acquisition exits and a couple of IPOs. So a lot of fun. Personally, I'm a father of four. Right now, I'm a grandfather of five. So I
Wow.
have five grandkids, and which are incredible, right? I get to see three of the five all the time as they live about a half a mile from me. So that's a lot of fun. Still working, tried retiring a couple times, didn't work for me. So still working, really helping the entrepreneur. I really like the ability to go out and find out what the entrepreneur needs, usually as software guys, and help them get it, whether it's money, whether it's people, whether it's accounts. I love doing that sort of thing. So still doing that and still having fun doing it.
Well, a lot of people who are in this audience are entrepreneurs, and I'd love to, you have a wealth of experience over a period of time in a lot of different areas, and it sounds like you're still advising, consulting, and serving entrepreneurs. What what's one thing that you think has really helped you in your career? What quality or skill or even mindset that has helped you in your career path?
Well, it's been quite diverse. You can Google me or go to LinkedIn or something and find out. But I started out, uh, growing up in a not so nice area, and first thing I wanted to do was get out of the not so nice area. So I'm the first person in my family to go to college, and the last, by the way,
Wow.
at my with my parents didn't go and my sisters and brothers didn't go. So I'm the only guy in my family that went to college and finally got out of there and figured out a way to get into the technology industry, which I really liked. Obviously back in those days in the 70s, when I got out of college, out of high school, and then out of college, technology was really starting to pick up. They had this thing called networking and a thing called email, and all that stuff started popping up in the 80s, and the 90s, along came the internet. So just been there along with that ride on in technology. I try to stay on the cutting edge of technology, very innovative. That's why we were able to start one of the first cybersecurity companies. Like I mentioned earlier, first cybersecurity unicorn, and turn that company into a software as a service for the customers out there. So one of the first to do that, if not the first. So just trying to stay, leading, have a leading edge.
So, and
When I,
and in addition to, so I mean, you talk about that desire to get out, right? To do something different, to go somewhere different is what it sounds like from
yeah, yeah.
your upbringing. So if there is someone listening who maybe they don't have that role model, right? For whatever reason, at home or in their environment, is there anything else that you would suggest that they can tap into when it's not going as easy, right? Because I'm sure you can speak
Does
to the
does it
fact
ever go,
that,
does it ever go easy?
yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure you can speak to the fact that it's not a straight line up. And if you just do everything
No.
perfectly, it works out. So what about those, what about those bumps in the roads or the uncertainties that arise?
Well, their life is full of bumps, as we all know, whether it be personal bumps or business bumps. I mean, it's going to be hard. Everything you do is not going to be easy. And I guess I guess it could be easy if you just, you know, decided to do a 9 to 5 job and just show up every day and have a, I don't know.
I don't know with
I don't
people I
want to,
talk
I
to.
don't want to downgrade any, I don't want to downgrade any or downplay any occupation.
But
So I'm
that's
not
not
going to mention
necessarily
it.
easy either.
Yeah, yeah, right. So the thing about entrepreneurism is that you get to do your own thing, and it's hard. It's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, but you're doing it. And some guys really get an idea and they say, "Oh my God, I'm going to try and put together a product or put together a service to help other people." And I think I can solve a big problem in the industry, and that I can help businesses and I can help people. So those types of things are a lot of fun, and that's why I really got a kick out of starting businesses or helping businesses, helping other entrepreneurs. I get hired today by private equity firms and venture capital firms to come in and help with their portfolio companies. They have investments.
And
They take
what would you
money.
say is the key thing the key value that you bring when a PE firm brings you in to work with their companies?
Well, if you think about it, tech companies are started by tech dudes, right? And tech dudes are tech dudes. So they can, they're real, some of them are real good at developing products, really good at developing ideas. Some of them are really good at, they have a lot of great attributes, but very few of them have them all. And so, where a guy is a good idea guy and a good product developer may not be a good business guy. So you need to bring a business guy in to help. Or maybe the guy's a really good business guy and you need a good product guy to come in and help. So you can see there's a lot of different things that you can do in being an entrepreneur to help other people. Personally, I find out that I come into with PEs and VCs to help with building their businesses, building revenue. And I found out that doing this for 100 years like I have is that building revenue is probably the most important thing you can do. Yes, building a product is important, and building a good staff is important, and building a good management team is important.
But you got to have
But
that
none of
revenue.
that's important if you don't have revenue,
Right,
right?
right. So it's
So
interesting. Go ahead, finish that
yeah, I'm
thought.
just saying, if your sales are going through the roof, nobody cares how bad of a company you are. So so it solves a lot of problems. So that's what I focus on, is how to produce more revenue for my clients.
I wanted to ask you something just partly because of the language you're using and also partly because of some of the work that I have done with women who are in technology. A lot of your language has to do with dudes and men and very much on the masculine side. And I'm really curious what you're seeing from the time that you entered into technology many years ago to now. Is there a shift? Are you noticing a shift as far as how many women and what they're bringing to this where technology is now?
Yeah, great question. And I don't mean dudes as being dudes, right?
I,
Or
I, I,
guys as being guys. It's
I
kind of more of
understand.
a general thing.
I
Maybe
understand.
maybe I'm old school, but hey you guys means hey you guys, guys and gals, and I don't delineate, maybe I should.
No, no worries.
So
I just want to tease out that piece because it's at least from the work that I'm doing, it's a really interesting the women that I have worked with and spoken with, they are in a very male dominated field, and yet
They
they're really
are.
excited and they love it, but that brings a whole host of different scenarios. So I was just curious, from what you've seen over the period of time that you've been in this business and what you see now, what you see evolving.
Yeah, so 25, 26 years of doing this, a long time. And if you think about it, that long in the 90s, when I started in tech in the 80s, but in the 90s, I started really being an entrepreneur. And you didn't see hardly any women at all. And when we were in the security space, cyber security, and then they called it cybersecurity later,
Mm-hmm.
there weren't any women, right?
Yeah.
And now it's all changed. There are a lot of female participants in the cybersecurity and the software as a service space. As a matter of fact, I'm a judge this year for the Cybersecurity Woman of the World,
Oh,
which is
nice.
a contest that's being held in September in Europe. And it gives you an idea. So there's so many participants now, and chief information security officers and chief information officers and chief technical officers are now female, which are great, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
great. And they should be. They're really conscientious, really smart, good managers, and they should be bosses. And I really like the way it's forming, if you will,
Evolving.
or
Great.
formed.
Right.
Yeah.
And so as you think about moving forward, and again, I think it's great because you have this incredible wealth of experience over a period of time. And right now, when people think of technology, many people are thinking about artificial intelligence and what does that mean? What does that mean for them personally? What does that mean for them in a particular industry? What does that mean for them in their particular company? And I'd love to hear your thoughts about what might be possible. Like what's the positive side of it in your view, as far as where we're going in the technology space?
Yeah, isn't it interesting? Artificial intelligence. It's not new, by the way. It's been around for a long time. As a matter of fact, at a company that we started in the 90s, we were using artificial intelligence, if you will, in 1997. Obviously, it wasn't really artificial intelligence as they know it is today. You can't speak to it, but what it was machine learning bots that we created to go crawl the web and look for different colors and different shapes and different words and so on that we were cataloging the web with one of the products that we have. And so we were
So they were going
creating,
out and they were collecting data that
they were
then you
collecting
could
data,
use.
right,
Okay.
that we could use. And then we'd look at the data that they collected and say, yeah, they collected this information, and we tweak the machine learning algorithm so they'd learn better and become sort of an artificial intelligence, if you will. So that's been happening for a long, long time, and we've been using it for a long, long time. But today, the Chat GPT stuff is really great. What they've done with
There are a lot of
artificial,
people who might disagree with you on that. So
well,
I want to hear
yeah, but I
why.
mean, from a
Right.
technologically advanced society, we can now speak to it, and
And it can
and
speak
it
back.
can answer us, right? And it can tell
Right.
us things we want to know. Um, for instance, I had a letter to write the other day, and I had a couple of didn't have much time, and I had a couple of bullet points I wanted to include in the letter, and I actually went out to in OpenAI stuff and had them write the letter for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it has its advantages, but I think we're going to be able to do a lot with it. I don't know if I agree with the problems with AI. Although I've been watching a lot of science fiction movies, right, that say that AI is the worst thing, right? It's going to turn into robots, and they're going to be after us, but that's not going to be the case at all. I think we're going to be able to regulate it and maintain it. But I think it's going to give us an advancement that we've never had before. And it's going to make our work easier. It's going to make our life better. And it's going to help us. I gave you a personal
Right.
with going out and writing a letter for me. That was a personal thing that I had to do. But in companies, artificial intelligence or AI or whatever you want to call it, are helping accountants and lawyers. Accountants do their jobs better by putting together algorithms to help them. Lawyers by being able to use AI to search on documents and information that they need. And it's just really, and cybersecurity, they're going to use AI to be better and be smarter and be faster, right?
Right.
Because in cybersecurity space, you got to be better and smarter and faster and use the latest technology, or the criminals will,
Right.
and they're going
Right.
to be way ahead of you. So I think it's going to help. Uh, I may be the rose-colored glasses guy here, but I actually think it's going to help. I'm enjoying using the technology. I'm enjoying seeing what it can be done. I'm enjoying developing it for the companies that I work with. So I think it's exciting.
And so for someone who maybe doesn't share that same feeling, what would you like, what scenario, if they're worried about it, for example, taking over their job, what would be your suggestion?
Well, I don't know what they would do. So if you're thinking that AI would take over your job, and if you are a factory worker, let's say at an
Mhm.
automobile company, well, they've been using AI and robotics for 30 years there.
Right.
So that's nothing new. AI is AI going to replace my job as an executive administrator? Let's say I'm somebody's assistant. How can I don't think that's going to happen. Can AI be used for accountants and for lawyers and for the services industries, bankers and so on? I think it'll only enhance what they do,
I
not
think that's
not
I
not
feel
take their jobs.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's almost like how do we integrate with it, right? Or how do we leverage it to be even better at what we're doing? And for entrepreneurs, someone like you and anyone else listening who's an entrepreneur, I think there's an incredible opportunity, right? Because
Well, I do too.
if you stay ahead of it rather than sit back and wait to see what's going to happen, then you're looking for ways that you can play with it, that you can leverage it, how you can serve your clients better. I know my co-founder was showing me, because he loves exploring how artificial intelligence can help, and he had me sit down and did a sample sales call with me being the potential client, and had AI answering my questions. Now it's not perfect right now, but it was amazing how she had a female voice asking those questions and responding in a way that was pretty
That made
close.
sense,
It
right?
made sense. It was pretty
Yeah.
close to being with a human
Well,
being. So it's very interesting.
yeah, think about it. If I can use a tool, we've been using tools to help do what we
Right,
do forever, right?
right,
Day one, if I wanted to plant a garden, I'd use a shovel, right?
right.
Or a trowel or a rake or something like that. I'd use a tool to help me. And in my work today, why wouldn't I use tools to help me? I mean, Zoom, for instance. Wow,
Right,
right?
right,
How helpful is this technology? It's not taking anybody's job, by the way. It sure is a helpful technology that people,
right,
and I think it's really helped us. People are now, there's a lot more working from home because of the technology has
right,
advanced enough to where we can do
right.
this thing that you and I are doing today as
Well,
well.
by the way, when I had my first radio show many, many years ago, I was driving 5 hours one way to get to the radio station. So
Yes,
5 hours
So it's a
down,
little
recording,
bit,
5 hours
so
back.
technology's helped, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm just again I'm positive on technology, whether it be Zoom or I it never used to be Zoom back in the day. It was like WebEx or
Right.
a few of those things, products that came before this. But anything that can help me be more productive, I'm going to use. So
So
if AI is going to help me be more productive, I'm going to use it.
in addition to that, so if someone is an entrepreneur or it could be a leader as well of a team who's looking for ways to innovate going forward, right? Like I see that we're in this world that is changing so rapidly. In addition to thinking of technology as a tool that you can leverage, what else, just more from the standpoint of having been an entrepreneur for so many years, what else would you say to entrepreneurs, or again, leaders who are really looking to make changes? What else should they be thinking about? What else could they be wondering and creating, or what's some advice that you would give to someone in that role right now?
Well, the biggest advice I would give to anybody in this role right now is go do it. Don't wait.
Well, that's so
Don't sit back
true.
and think about it. Oh my God, I think I'm going to start this business. I have this great idea, but I don't have any money, and I'm, my wife won't let me, and I have kids, and so I can't really do what I want to do. Just do it anyway. I mean, yeah, you can eat peanut butter for a year, and nothing wrong with that. But I think it's worth it. So my advice is to don't wait,
Move.
go now, go today, go now,
Probably even
and
more true right now than it was even a few years ago, right?
yeah, move on your dreams and your wishes, and because that's what's going to make life good for you. And if you fail, so what? Do it again. Figure it out. It's like they say with politicians, right? It's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get up. So it's I've heard that one recently. So it's
Well,
I like to
certainly true
believe
in the entrepreneurial world, right? Like anyone who thinks
certainly
they're
true
going
in
to
entrepreneur. And
win.
don't think that your first deal is going to be the big deal. It might fail, but then that's good, because if you fail, you're closer to success, because you're not going to fail every time.
So what do you think
So
is the biggest challenge for entrepreneurs? When you say that, it makes logical sense. And I bet anyone listening is like, oh yeah, I've heard that before. Yes, 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 it makes sense. It stays in the left brain maybe, but there's a part of them that's like, oh. So what do you think is the biggest block to just doing it?
well, it's money, right? It's lifestyle. It's they want to eat. If you're a 20 something that's a single, then the risk is less.
Right,
But if you're a 30 something with a family, then the
right.
risk is much more. So
That's a
you
good
really
point.
have to weigh the risk and reward. And so, but the biggest problem is once you know, settle down and have a family, then you're less and less able to go out and chase your dreams because of the risk, of the financial risk.
You know, it's
And
interesting that you say that because there are a good number of people, certainly many of my clients, who are leaving corporate America because they feel that there's something more that they're meant to do. And these are people in their 40s,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Hey,
So what would you
go for it,
say?
guys. Go for it, is what I'm saying.
But
Don't
they're going to
stop.
say, I'm not
Leave that
20.
corporate job and go do your own thing. So I have a great example of this. Okay, so I helped start a company called Websense, which was a great startup, and we went from two guys, like I said earlier, to an IPO, and eventually got sold. So great outcome for it. But you really want it but it was a struggle, right? Everything was a struggle, and we had to uh really struggle to make payroll and bring more money in and find more clients, and we were selling firewalls that enabled us to pay for our software development, and so anything like that would help us. And so what the funny thing about that company was that we were cataloging the web, and so we had to come up with technology to help. But some of the technology to help was that I went like to so we were cataloging the web in the 90s, and if you think about it, what was mostly on the internet in the 90s was porn, right? It seemed to be the dominant thing, gambling sites, shopping for Chevys, bank sites, and porn sites.
The darker side.
Right. The only people who were making money on the web in the 90s were the porn guys, right? So, but we wanted to catalog the web, and so we had to figure out how to do that. So we went out to the colleges and the universities around San Diego, where we started the company, and started, putting signs up saying, if you guys, make money surfing the web type of thing. And we get college students at all hours of the day in surfing the web, and that's how we really started the company and how we got it going. So artificial intelligence and technology wasn't around in those
Right.
days, right? So to do that, so we had to use our manual power to do that. But that was a lot of fun. You think about it, we had, college kids with green hair and earrings and in there surfing the web and cataloging porn sites and gambling sites and
And the
you know
reason your
that
company was doing that was what?
well, because we wanted to, so it was internet management is what
Okay.
it was. So we wanted to manage the web. So corporations, uh, one of the reasons we started this was that companies started firing employees for internet abuse, right?
Right.
And so we were saying, wow, that's horrible. So they should be able to monitor where their employees are going and stop them from doing the things they shouldn't do to
Going on
keep
porn
getting
during
fired.
during work
Yeah,
days.
right.
Yeah.
So let's help them manage the internet. So the only way we could do that is to control the content, right?
Gotcha.
And by controlling the content, then you could be a large major multinational corporation and use checkbox of categories of sites where you can go and where you can't go, and that was kind of it. But the biggest thing for us was that we thought that would be a security play because
Right.
we secured the internet, people abusing the internet, and
Right.
and so that started it as a cybersecurity play, and that's why we partnered with the biggest companies that were in the space at the time, like Cisco and Checkpoint and McAfee and Microsoft and those types of things. And
Hmm.
when I first started this, it was Cisco, Checkpoint, Microsoft, John McAfee, and me, right? So that was kind of the starting point for cybersecurity. So yeah, so well, but as far as uh, being an entrepreneur and doing that, it's just something that I came across the opportunity to do this. Really liked it, and it was a big issue because what happens if I couldn't make payroll, or what happens if I didn't have any money to feed my family or pay the
Well,
mortgage?
I think a lot of people who are considering leaving corporate America are thinking that, right?
Yeah,
Even
yeah, yeah, right.
even if they have
They have
older
to.
children. Yeah. And
They
looking
have
at
to.
ways of how to set it up, because there's no guarantee, right? It's going after something that maybe you're really excited about, or you see an opportunity, but it's very different than showing up and getting a paycheck. So you would say to them, go for it as well, even though they're not
Go for
20
it.
and eating peanut
If
butter.
you want to do something, go for it. And if you're not doing it today, you're wasting today.
Right.
Uh, because you need to go out there and do it. You just need to do it. And
Yeah.
it's hard. It's going to be the hardest thing you ever did. And there's going to be some ups and downs like you wouldn't believe, but you're doing your own thing. And it's really exciting when that happens.
You
You know what I
sound,
mean, Laura.
yeah. Oh, I know what you mean.
You quit your corporate job and ran right out and did this, right?
Absolutely.
And
I tell people it's
and
like
a radio
it
show
it it it
and
is not an easy path, and I would
no,
never trade it. I would never trade it. But that's just who I would rather be able to choose the direction that I'm going.
yeah,
And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I learn from it and I reevaluate and I go forward. I would really have a hard time. Someone asked me the other day, when was the last time? When was the last time I actually worked for someone else and got a paycheck? Right. I had to think for a while because it's been so long. And then I remembered and I thought, oh yeah, I just remember that my boss at that particular point, it didn't make any sense. And I said, I can't do this. I cannot do this. And not everyone's that way, but I do feel I am really sensing a lot more people saying, I see something, I feel something, there's something that I'm meant to be doing, and it's not this. So I'm super curious about where our world is going to be. And I'd love to ask you, if you were going to live another 100 years, what would you be most excited about seeing, potentially seeing or experiencing in the world?
Well, 100 years. That's incredible. So
Okay, you can go with
experiencing the
50
world.
if you
So
want.
yeah, how would you like to see your great grandkids grow up?
Right.
You got kids, and now you've got grandkids, and they're going to have their kids, and they're going to have kids, and oh my God, how incredible would it be if you had a lineage of
That
a
you could.
thousand family members out there with
That'd be quite a
grandkids and
family
dogs and
reunion.
and just that would be incredible to see, right? If I lived for 100
Mhm.
years. So that would be the biggest thing I'd look forward
Right.
to is seeing the family grow like that and become their own people and living their lives and that would be really interesting to me. I've been in technology my whole life, so obviously the next 100 years it would be how amazing. Well, just how amazing has the last 20 or 30 years been,
Right.
right?
And maybe we don't even
Uh,
need to go 100 years out because it's changing
yeah,
so
yeah.
quickly. Maybe it's
Because look,
50 years out.
yeah, yeah. Before we were, when we started here, started, we were looking at like companies just started linking their cells together. I mean, I went to work right out of college for Texas Instruments, and Texas Instruments had their own data highway, which I thought it was incredible. This is in the 80s, and I thought it was incredible that these guys had their own data highway. We could actually email each other in the 80s, uh, you know, e- between employees of the company, which was so far advanced, right, at those
Right.
times. And so that was very cool to see where that was going. And then I started looking at other companies that would enhance that. And then there were the networking guys showed up and where they not only where you have many computers and mainframes, and then there were networking PCs and laptops to your network. And that was before the internet. And it was for internal corporate stuff. And then the internet came along and changed, as you know, changed everything. Uh, and so what's going to happen in the
Well,
next
I would say more like
30 years? I
what
don't
would you
know.
be
It's pretty
most
exciting.
excited? Like if you could be part of creating what that next, big thing is do you have any any thoughts about what that would be?
I don't know what is the next
Yeah.
big thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is it space
Right.
exploration? Is it ocean exploration? Is it using technologies to, go off and inhabit planets? I don't know, but the
I
movies
know.
think so, right?
Right, right.
Yeah,
So
and
what
so
so what
they
about
think we're going to be able to go to moon and to Mars and be able to,
maybe
live in those
so?
places. But obviously, if we were able to do that, we'd be doing it now. So we just haven't been
No.
able to get there yet. Or, what's out there. So I think the universe is such a massive place. I don't know what's out there and what's going to happen, but I think it's going to have to be something like that, right?
Hmm.
Now, technology is going to get great, better and better and better, and it seems like that it it has really increased our chances of worldwide communications and worldwide economic trade. And it has done that for us because I could reach out to a guy in Singapore right now and
Right,
do a deal, right? Or something I couldn't do a few years ago.
right.
So those types of things are only going to get better and more exciting. So yeah, do I reach out to, interplanetary
Yeah,
communications?
who
Uh,
knows?
who knows, right?
Who knows? And it's interesting too, because coming from a background of psychology, I always go back and think like, as these external things are happening in our world, what does that mean for us internally as well? So I'd love your thoughts if, as we're expanding in this technology, and you touched on that point that we can connect so much more than we ever
Anywhere,
could.
anytime.
And so
Yeah.
what do you believe is either going to be a challenge or an opportunity for us internally as this massive, as we continue to be able to connect even more easily as we go forward, and as we probably leverage, I would say, most of us in our jobs will be leveraging technology even more than we currently do. What do you think about what's going on internally? What's going on psychologically for people during this transition, and where the opportunities are?
Well, if you think about, uh, what I was reading the other day. So a good friend of mine is the chairman of Google Health. And
Right.
if you look at healthcare, I mean,
Mm.
what technology has done with helping healthcare so much in the last 20 years, the last 10 years. It's unbelievable what's happening right now with the advancements in medicine and the advancements in medical devices and the advances in treatment and surgeries and so on. You know, that's going to be an incredible thing to watch, is all the medical advancements that
Right.
technology will allow us to have to help us live healthier and live
Right.
longer.
Right.
And so that's really going to be something from an internal thing
Right.
that's going to happen. So I really think that that's exciting part of, all the different medical advances that are going to happen because the technology that we have, because artificial intelligence, and because of all the other things that are going on in the technology industry right now, is going to help us develop uh, more healthy human beings, right? If you
Hmm.
have problems, we can fix it. Cures for cancer, how great would that be? So there's so many things that we could focus on just internally in ourselves. But that doesn't count all the things that are going to help our companies too, because
Right.
companies will spring up everywhere using the technology for healthcare, using the technology for data, right?
Right.
Uh, as you know, is the most important, and then data can help you in almost every aspect of life. So, it's somebody just sent me a ring the other day. I still have it in this box here that I'm going to put
Is it
on.
an Aura ring?
I put on a ring,
Is it an
and
Aura ring?
yeah, it's like that. But it's new
Oh,
technology,
okay. Okay.
and it tells me my blood pressure and my blood oxygen level and my heart
Yep.
rate. It does an EKG. And it's amazing what a ring will do. And so
Right.
I can't wait to set it up and wear it around. I've been wearing a fitness watch forever. And so now I get to wear a fitness ring. And so, technology like that is going to help us individually, personally, internally, but it's also going to help the corporations out there be more innovative.
Well, and I also read something. I don't remember where I saw this, but that I think it's fascinating because the current technology, is allowing people to create businesses. So thinking about this entrepreneur and be not having to invest as many dollars because you have access, because of the technology and what you can do with it, that there are going to be smaller, as far as numbers of employees, smaller companies doing big, big things in the world and creating very large amounts of revenue with a smaller number of people. And I'd love to hear I don't remember where I saw that, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, you think about it. Okay, so um, I, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm thinking about ways that I can make the world a better place, and help me and my neighbor and my family and so on. And so I come up with something that using artificial intelligence, for instance, that will help others. I'm not sure of the product. If I knew what product
Right.
would be the best out there to help others, I'd go do it.
Right.
But I have an idea. AI is going to help uh, accountants do their accounting easier, faster, better, and so on and so forth. And I have an idea in my head that using artificial intelligence will do that. So what happens is that I go out personally by myself, because there are tools out there right now where I can just do it myself,
Right.
and develop a product, find some customers to test it, and then go out to market. And I'm still by myself now,
Right.
and then
Right.
go out to market with this great technology that's going to help hundreds of thousands or millions of people uh, based on what it does, right? I used accounting or stuff
Right.
just off the top of my head. So yes, you think about it, I could do, and then I only need, because of AI, I only need a developer or two, maybe two instead of 30,
Right.
and or 300, and I can do some of the things that companies are doing with 10% of the resources
Right.
that you used to be able to use. And so all of a sudden, I'm creating a multi-million-dollar business with 10 people. And I've got
And I
a
think there are going to
finance
be
guy,
more of those,
I got a
right?
CEO, I got a finance guy, I've got a couple of guys that'll keep enhancing the tech, and sales guys, and I'm out marketing guy to make so people know who I am. And so I got 10 people out here, and I'm building a multi-million-dollar business. So that I think that can be done, and the
I,
technology.
I I did too. I think it also increases the opportunities for entrepreneurs to be able to build their businesses, right? Back to what you were
Right.
speaking to at the beginning of it, the investment that's required. I think that that barrier, not that it's going to go away, but it will be lowered a little
But it's
bit.
shrinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
shrinking.
So I think
And
it's, I mean, I don't know about your kids, but certainly my kids, they're all in one form or another want to create, want to provide in their unique way. And I
yeah.
think that technology allows people to do that in a way that maybe they couldn't have done it previously. So,
Yeah, or automate all processes that are already in place, making them
right,
faster and easier and
right,
better.
right,
And building that tool and going out and selling it to an already established market, saying, hey, if you can do it faster and better and smarter, here's a tool to do that. And so, and I'm still 10 guys and a dog, right?
right. The
And
dog, gotta
and
have the dog.
so yeah, you gotta have the dog, right? He's for the stable part.
Yeah,
And
the emotionally supportive.
the emotionally support, right. Yeah, I have my
Oh,
service dog.
yeah.
And so I'm still 10 guys and a dog, and I'm doing the things that it would take 100 people to do,
Right,
5 years ago. So
right,
I think that there's going to be a lot of businesses spring up out there, specialty businesses
right.
that can help um, uh, entrepreneurs and help people out there do what they want to do better and faster. And I think that's really going to be the new entrepreneur going forward, is using these tools that we have just recently. I mean, we're not
Right,
talking very old now.
right, right,
I'm saying AI is the old as the hills, and machine learning is too. But this new version of AI where you can speak to it and it answers you and it helps you. And if I could use that technology to make business easier and faster, uh, I think that's the way it's going to go.
very exciting for those entrepreneurs and leaders out there. Thank you, Cleve, so
It's a
much.
great time to be an
It's a
entrepreneur,
great
right?
time. As chaotic as the world seems to be, I agree with you. I think it's a great time to be an entrepreneur. I want to ask you before we close today, if there is any message that you'd love to share that you haven't already shared with the audience.
Well, I think my message is, you know, uh, the Nike was Phil Knight. Nike was my hero because he came up with a slogan. Well, he didn't, but his marketing came up with a slogan called "Just Do It."
Right,
Right. So that's been my slogan from day one. Just do it. If you want to do something, go do it. If you want to quit your job and go start a business, go do it. If you want to change the world at the company that you're in, go
right,
do it.
right.
There's a lot of big companies that have been started by being funded by internally by the company that you're in. So if you have a good idea and think it's going to work,
Just do it.
just do it.
I
Right.
love that. Let's end on that note, Cleve. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you so much
My
for being
pleasure.
here.
Thanks so much
And
for the invitation. I really enjoyed the
yeah,
conversation.
and everyone have a wonderful day.